This is part 2 of a series. If you haven't seen the first part, please check the description. Thank you. Moving on. Tier 2. The OwlHouse is connected to Gravity Falls. Various Easter eggs, such as a poster of Ida appearing in a Gravity Falls comic, a hat that looks vaguely like Dipper's among Ida's human collectibles, and a post-it of a pyramid with one eye looking vaguely like Bill Cipher. Full confirmation hasn't happened, but people still fully believe. Pilot episode. Pilots are essentially an episode made to convince execs to pick up a show, and the pilot for the OwlHouse was put/leaked online. Several aspects are clearly displayed, such as designs for Ida looking identical, but there being different scenes, different looks for Luz and King, and most important, Luz using magic just poorly. I codes. I codes are similar to the title codes, but I codes are built during a season and refer to background elements where an I is shown alongside symbols in a made-up language. Putting all the I codes together reveals the following messages. In Season 1, 2 witches torn apart, now alone. 2 hearts of stone. A curse of feathers and mud. A betrayal of blood. Referring of course to Ida and Lilith. In Season 2, it's stealing seas and puppet strings, he no longer dreams of kings. As above rush darkened skies, as below his father lies. This further relating to King. I don't believe there was any I codes in Season 3. If there is, I'm not fully aware. Steve and Bartholomew are half-brothers. The very popular character Steve and also Bartholomew are half-brothers. This was confirmed from Dana, which makes me wonder if Steve's full name is Steve Bartholomew. Season 3 leaks. There was a lot of leaks for Season 3, which is very upsetting considering how few episodes there were. Leaking early also happened to an actual episode, Season 3 Episode 2, which was leaked due to Disney releasing it on iTunes before anywhere else. Caleb, or kill him. This is a small debate that refers to the Season 2 finale. Basically, everyone is fighting Bellows, and he runs up to Hunter, switching his face back, trying to convince him to come back to his side, before seeing Flapjack and getting incredibly angry. Bellows yells something here. This is almost certainly him yelling Caleb, but the subtitles for the episode, Bellows says kill him, which only vaguely makes sense. It's the official subtitles for the episode. So, Adventure in the Elements Ruins. On top of the knee in Season 1 Episode 12 is ruins of an old town. This wasn't really notable until Season 2 Episode 16, where we see that Bellows, in order to convince people of his ways and experiment with the sigils, destroyed the town, claiming it to be the work of wild witches. The only remnants of this town being the ruins we see on the knee today. Luz has a flawed memory. Throughout the course of the show, there are a few instances where Luz recalls an event from previous episodes. The show is story-based, especially from Season 2, so that makes sense. Some lines of dialogue are changed. Nothing drastic to change the story, but enough to be noticeable. Gus and Willow's glowing eyes. When we first see Willow, she gets really angry and her eyes glow. Gus is shown to have his eyes light up under similar situations. Dana later explained this as something that happens as a sort of overload of power. Fun fact, Amy was also supposed to have her eyes glow, most likely when confronting Odalia about Luz, but they didn't go through with this. Name symbolism. All the characters' names mean something in the show. For example, Luz is the Spanish word for light, her being the light in the lives of her friends and family. Amity's name means friendship, which alluded to the enemies to friends angle that would turn to enemies to lovers soon after. There are plenty more examples, but I recommend you check them out yourself, or otherwise find a video that explains it better. Titan Standing. The Titan Standing is a cut piece of animation in the scene where Bellows shares a vision of the Day of Unity to the Coven Heads. What in the show is the Titan head amongst a average human city. What was originally meant to occur was to see the Titan stand up. Necromancy in the Boiling Isles. When I looked this up, it just came up with someone talking about how it would be cool. But I believe what they're actually referring to is Grimwalkers. Grimwalkers are replicas of people that have passed. The only one we see in show is Hunter. Now, I say this is necromancy because Grimwalkers require essence of the original person in order to exist. Theoretically, anyone can make a Grimwalker if they get the right supplies, but this is likely more effort than it's worth. Luz's real-life inspiration. Luz Batista is a storyboard artist who worked on a few shows, including the OwlHouse. She was the primary inspiration for Luz, both as the name and because Luz and Dana were roommates. Apparently, the one rule she had for Dana using her name was that the character also be Dominican, like she is. 1 Million Moms. Okay, 1 Million Moms is a sort of organization that points at things they don't like and say it's corrupting children. You can guess where this is going. The group is very Christian and heavily anti-LGBTQ+. So, when a show about friendly witches and demons where anyone can date anyone and be anyone pops up, they're gonna start shrieking like banshees. They started petitions for Disney to cancel the show and urge parents to never show their kids. I'm actually gonna check. What are they trying to do right now? Okay, right now they're urging KFC to cancel an offensive ad. I need to know. Oh my... They want to cancel this KFC ad because it says son of a bucket. Oh my fucking god. This is the level of stupidity we're dealing with here. The Collector wasn't planned. The Collector was a vital aspect of late season 2, but according to Dana Terrace, they weren't really a thing until the crew was told about the episode reduction. Or at least they were only a concept and they weren't very important. Nightmare Before Woe. Nightmare Before Woe is a very impressive fan-made episode which takes place between Season 1 Episode 17 and 18, directly following the occurrence of Grom Night in Episode 16. I have yet to watch the episode myself. I want to watch it with friends at some point that also love the show. Enzo Gabriel. So, the Collector. We said him a few bits ago. Well, Enzo Gabriel is a fan-made nickname given to him. The name itself comes from Brazil and is linked to names that are incredibly energetic and annoying. I think how we hear the name Karen and link that to stuck-up women yelling. Essentially, being an Enzo Gabriel is being a do you have games on your phone kid. Flapack. Flapack is Flapjack. Is a name to funny and or stupid images of Flapjack. Bellows in a jar. Bellows in a jar is Bellows, but in a jar. Okay, it actually refers to the tiny beast of Bellows being trapped and basically being made a mockery of. He's so small, might as well make fun of him. He's a short little guy and nobody likes him. OwlHouse Abridged. OwlHouse Abridged is an abridged series, very popular on YouTube, made by Tomato Sauce. I haven't watched this one either, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, and a few running jokes from it, such as Hunter wanting a PS5. Wormphibia. Wormphibia refers to a sort of phase within the Owlphibia fandom, where everyone decided to draw the characters as worms. I didn't understand Wormphibia then, I barely understand it now. Little Miss Perfect and Ordinary. Little Miss Perfect and Ordinary were songs created by Jariah Quaim, apologies if I pronounced that wrong, that have become the unofficial themes of Amity and Luce respectively. Little Miss Perfect was an existing song, I believe related to 13 Reasons Why, that was adapted into the fanbase as it just fit Amity's description perfectly, whereas Ordinary was created in response to the OwlHouse fandom's appreciation for Little Miss Perfect. Sibling AU. Remember the betas I talked about earlier? Well, fans took the designs of characters from that, notably Luce's design, and interpreted those designs to be the older siblings, and comics will have them from time to time. TheOwlClub.net. The Owl Club is a notable place to yar har har episodes of the show. They even live streamed the new episodes of Season 3 as they aired. As someone that didn't watch it on there, I've heard it was incredibly laggy from the amount of people that were trying to watch it at the same time. Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. Not too long after the OwlHouse ended, there was a Superman show. But watching the trailer, OwlHouse fans clocked Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen to be older versions of Luce and Gus respectively. The only clip I've seen from Superman is Lois getting more comfortable, and I refuse to elaborate why I've seen it. The Bat Queen is the Titan's talisman. So the Bat Queen is a very minor character introduced in the early season as the protector of talismans in the forest. She herself being a giant talisman. Now, when people saw how large the Bat Lady was compared to all the others, they considered her the only other giant character we knew being the Titan. Unfortunately, the Bat Lady storyline never went anywhere, and it's very unlikely the Titan would have ever needed a talisman, given that they're the strongest beings that we know of. Plus, being honest, I don't think the Bat Queen is big enough even as a talisman for the Titan. Like, the Bat Queen is like twice the size of a person, roughly. The Titan is a continent. Tenella Nosa is Dana's self-insert. So Tenella Nosa, the small creature, what's notable is that the character is actually a caricature Dana's used for a while, just shrunken and turned into Tenella Nosa. Luce's talisman speculation. Ever since Luce got her talisman wood in Season 2 Episode 6, fans wondering what it could possibly hatch into. We now know it's Stringbean, the snake shifter, but there were a lot of different theories with a variety of evidence. These theories were actually mentioned in Season 3 Episode 2. Ramon was least to most likely in the eyes of people. He was thought an otter because of Luce's otter onesie, a dragon because there was a lot of snake imagery, and birds are all related to chloroforms, hence people thought a bird would also be likely, since Luce is practically a chloroform. A bat due to Luce's phone case and the conversation icons that she and Aoi has, since Aoi's icon represents her talisman. And lastly, a snake, from a variety of snake imagery and the placement of the staffs in the title. Dana doesn't like happy endings. This was a saying that the fan base took after misquoting Dana. Dana stated that they don't like happily ever after endings, but a character doesn't have any more challenges in life. People taking the misquote immediately assumed that the show would end tragically. Anything you could think of, people thought it, or worse. Speaking of worse, Titan Trappers wear skulls of Titan children. Titan Trappers on Titan Trapper Island wear skulls to disguise themselves. But, issue, the size of these skulls indicate they came from children Titans like King. This would be incredibly dark. These be fake, as Bill states that most of us have never seen a real Titan, and asked where King got his Titan costume from. Several characters may be on the autism spectrum. This, alongside the next few topics, I'm in no way qualified to give an accurate opinion on. However, these are very popular headcanons within the fandom, so they needed to be addressed. A few characters, prominently Luce, Hunter, and Gus, are believed to be on the autism spectrum, or at least they're coded to be, and given several reasons as to why. I personally am on the spectrum, specifically Asperger's, and if any of these were confirmed, I'd be fucking hyped. Luce has ADHD. A similar headcanon for Luce for a good while was that they have ADHD. Unlike the previous one, where I couldn't find anything about it, Dana Terrace has said that she always intended Luce to be neurodivergent, even if she didn't know the words back then when she was working the character. But eventually she did do research and ADHD just fit into place. Ida's curse is a symbolism for illness. Now, Ida has been cursed all her life. Very clearly be symbolism for an illness of sorts. Mental, physical, whatever. I don't think there's an exact illness people describe it as. One is, it's an illness that's incurable and hard to control, but fine to manage. Essentially, Ida is a character that's living most of their life with an illness they can't do anything against, but they're still living happy. They're still doing what they want to do, and that's very important to see, and very nice to see as well. They ultimately literally accept it and grow stronger both physically and mentally. I think that's great. Background pride flags. A fun thing that the background artist did during the show was sneak in the colors of several flags. This was before they just straight up show Luz coming out as bi to her mother, and bi and lesbian heart pins in Willow's scrapbook. Homophobia does not exist in the demon realm. This is a statement that Dana made, and that just sounds perfect. This was a short explanation of why we don't see any sort of homophobia. Even every villain has no on-screen homophobia. Even Bellows, who would be the most likely to be, is never shown being homophobic to people. The Hootie Hole theory. Essentially, this theory is that Hootie is essentially a tapeworm for the Titan, and that the Hootie we see would fully connect somewhere in the human realm. This was referenced by a small, relative to the size, Hootie being in Titan's eye when they're revealed, as the other tie looks exactly like the portal eye. And that is all for the second tier. Catch you next time for tier 3.